allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us on this absolutely gorgeous summer day. And before we get, well, first let's approve the minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes unless there's corrections or comments? Second, first, second. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, passed. Before we go into resolutions, we do have a presentation. We would like to take a picture. Would you like to introduce?
Yes, absolutely. Neil Harvey, we're recognizing her. She's the administrative assistant in both tourism and planning and everything else that we do. Essentially my right hand, and couldn't operate without her. And so thankful she is sitting her tech here. We're gonna still take a photo in the big room with the finish.
Okay, if we could take a moment of recess, do I have to have a motion or we'll just take a recess to go and get some pictures with her and for all her great time that she has spent here and the things she's done wonderful. So we'll be right back for those of you that are not in the photo, but all members of the committee, thank you.
Thanks,
And it's something that
Sorry.
We are, but yeah, we can talk about, we gotta do presidentiships and also our collaboration or
Good.
training.
Listen, I'm not trying to stir it up, but I was like, just talk to her.
That's not what I said, but you know, I'm wondering if there's misinterpretation.
No. Well, she's super bent out of shape about it. And I was just like,
What's that?
I'm pretty sure Rachel's not applying for the whole thing. Even if, like, she doesn't have a way to spend it. It would take her 20 years to spend it. So it just, to me, like, it's a better, more competitive overall. It's like it's a joint thing. And
Well, and we with Bill, they're so easy too. It's like, you know what, you do all of that, just like contracts.
she's just like, it's gonna look so bad if they do it. And I'm like, Sarah, just talk to her.
So,
Oh my gosh, a little silly.
did want to talk to you though, so we have, small distance helping out at working with the consortium.
Okay.
But they want us to put together like intermediary team.
Okay.
Basically, I would be the lead, but
What is it for?
it's for the micro course.
Okay.
Consortium. What they're doing is what Center State's trying to do
Mhm.
is have these regional intermediaries.
Yeah.
So then as they go after more funding,
Mhm.
that then they have these subcontractors to send it to. So we would be one.
Okay.
Economic development involved. So I'm gonna write a bunch of things that I just got yesterday. I get to a letter. I'll send it.
So just a letter to support you being that person?
They are willing to part on future projects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Just saying that we already do work together.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
one of
basically gonna
those
write
that-
that. I'm looking for work.
It's one of those things that we just do because it's the right thing to do. But we'll
But other
formalize
places
it.
don't do it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are needed things that we need to do to our employees to show that we do appreciate them. A lot of times people forget how much we really do appreciate it. If you don't say it, it's lost. I think it's very important for morale. We need to do that. So Angel Harvey, 10 years, good going. Okay. All right, let's go right into somebody else seated and right. Okay. EP1, resolution accepting grant funds for Oswego Build Pathways to Apprenticeship to the Department of Workforce Development from the New York State Office of Strategic Workforce Development. Motion? Second. Rachel, you want to go through what we have here?
So this grant is from New York State, Emergency Development, their Office of Strategic Workforce Development. We applied for this grant in October, and have been awarded. So this amount of funding is to support 3 more cohorts of our Oswego Build program. We're working on the contract and all of that right now with the state for our goals and everything. But what it would be is 3 cohorts over the next 2 years, 15 trainees per cohort. And it's building upon the 2 cohorts that we've already done working with the trades, but then adding in some additional weeks for energy industry fundamental training. And we have Constellation and National Grid on board to help with that. And we also have been planning our next cohort to start in July. And with this, Constellation came to us that they have a week that they can do a job shadowing in September with their outage. So the individuals that are in this upcoming cohort are going to get a week at the new plants. See how that all works as well. So that's an awesome opportunity for that. But this is part of the bigger just initiatives around the region. I did want to share as well, because we had 2 cohorts graduate with our grant that we were subcontracted under Center City CEO to start the Swiggleville. Our first cohort graduated 9 individuals. With those 9 individuals, they attended for interviews across unions. 4 of them are currently in the pipeline to get into the unions, and 1 has been accepted into an apprenticeship, but 7 are employed out of the 9 currently. And then our second cohort that just graduated in April, graduated 12 individuals with 11 interviews across trades unions. 8 of them are in process. With that interview process, 1 has been accepted into a partnership, and again, 7 are already employed and working. So we've had some great results, and the unions are still in that process. So I'm sure there will be more.
And they're working within Oswego County. That's the main thing. Let's train them and let's keep them.
Yep.
Perfect.
We've had really good results so far. So
What unions did they get apprenticeships in? Pipe fitters? Outfitters?
1 is with the roofers and the other is with the laborers. But across the 12 that are still in the pipeline, it's spanning. It's all.
Thank you.
And we have 12 different trades unions that have been involved so far. And we're working on getting them.
I didn't even realize that there was a trade union for elevators.
Yes.
Yes. Now are we involved in that as well?
No.
No.
State, best paid trades.
They are. That's what I have found out, and I had no idea.
Don't have a lot of.
Yes.
Great.
I guess it's the liability that's quite dangerous.
Skill level.
It's the skill level.
Elevator.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably got you 100,000 just get a service on it.
I thought it was because we got that crane out there.
All right, any other questions for Rachel or UP one? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept?
Move it.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Opposed? Passes. Okay, I handed out, the reason we didn't, have this in the packet is that we were waiting for all the applications to come in to make sure everything was all set. And this is a very timely one. And, it has been funded in, well, first off, wait a minute. Do I have a motion to, discuss it? Thank you. And, we had to really reach deep to figure out if we're gonna be able to afford this, because this is $85,000 coming from unappropriated funds. But in the past, we have had ARPA. We've been lucky enough last couple of years to have ARPA to help. And with the cutbacks in the federal to help us with youth, we felt this year we really needed to step up and to help the youth. So, Rachel, you want to go into exactly what this is?
Yeah, so the timing of everything is, so our summer youth employment program, we do this every year. It's been going on for 40+ years with the state funding, but which we actually got our allocation on Monday. So we're getting $480,000 from the state to fund this program, which I'll be bringing a resolution next month because it is $12,000 more than what we budgeted last year, which barely accounts for the 50-cent increase in minimum wage to pay the kids. So it still is enough to bring on our temporary staffing, my staffing costs for this, and also to fund about 115 kids. Those kids, though, have to qualify under TANF 200% federal poverty guidelines, which are, because it's based on federal minimum wage, which is $7.25, and not New York State that's $16 now. So they don't align very well. But it's for youth ages 14 to 20, and we place these kids all over the county. They're from all over the county. They're at multiple municipality parks and rec positions. They're at small businesses and school districts doing cleaning over the summer. They're also quite often the counselors and assistant counselors at day camps for childcare for the kids. But what we've been collecting applications, we have gotten almost 215 applications. The deadline was Friday. We got a couple more over the weekend that we'll review. But staff has been going through those applications and seeing where income is for those families. So what we were asking with this 85,000 is to be able to fund that 201 to 400% federal poverty guideline amount for those household incomes, because we get numerous applications that families are just over those thresholds. And a lot of times these kids, that's their only source of additional income that they can get, whether it's they're 14, 15, 16, they can't find a job because of their age, or they are that 17, 18, 19, 20 age range and they can't find a job because they don't have the skills or they don't have the transportation. So we provide also, before anyone goes on a job site, they get a full day of soft skills training, and they also have to go through HR because they come on as temporary county employees. So they get to start within the state retirement system too, which is great for them. And we also have counselors that come on and train these kids throughout the time. We have noticed over the past couple of years, we have had a better completion rate. They used to be like a 20 to 30% drop off. We haven't had that, which is great. And we have a lot of kids that come back repeatedly. And we also don't want to leave some of these businesses hanging. We have these businesses and other village and town departments that come to us on a yearly basis that comes to stick it the program as well.
Discussion.
So you mentioned the poverty range, 200 to 400. Is that a fixed rate? Is there any? Could you come in?
That rate, it's based on federal guidelines. Comes right from the feds on what that is, and in a comparison of that to MIT's living wage calculator, 400% is right about in line with the Oswego County self-sufficiency level, which gets people right at that minimum disposable income.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's that number?
So the self-sufficiency or the 400%? Self-sufficiency. So for a family of two, one parent, one child, it's right about 60,000. I've just got round numbers. Sure. For a family of three is 80,000, and a family of four is 105,000. And that's using 2024 data.
And these are for-profit businesses that we're paying the employees to go work at.
Most of them are not.
Okay.
The ones that are usually only employ less than 5 people, so they're very small.
Do any of the older students end up with employment directly without the programs after summer?
Some of them do. A lot of the older ones will roll into our full year program. And then after that, with more training, then they can get it. It's a good feeder program for some of the others.
It's good to identify the kids that really want to be able to work. And I like the idea that it is not just poverty, low income, because we shouldn't even do it. I wish we didn't have to do it by income. It's need. And these kids do need the soft skills. So it is important for us to reach out to, just because your parents earn just a little bit more, sorry, you lose out. And
One more question. So, or comment actually. So this would be a great way to like offset some of our struggling municipalities with a younger workforce as well.
Yes.
And like you said, Parks and Recreations or a mega garbage truck or something along those lines. Like this idea.
I love the idea to get the kids out to understand showing up, what you have to wear, that there is an authority that says you can't have that day off or you can. These are skills that we've always just assumed you have, but some of them, they aren't getting them other places that we need to help them. So we have good employment. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Passes. Okay. Next, we have committee review and decision for the update to policy for public information and publication. These policies, they come forward, and Bill went through a lot of them to make this one. We had general government had 3. First, they have to go through general government. And so they saw them yesterday and they approved 3 of them. And one of them went to public safety to be done. One is coming here. What's the third one going to? Trying to think. Finance. And honestly, these have not been updated in 20 years, but luckily when you look through it, minor changes in what they're doing. A lot of it is just the name of where it goes. Instead of the public information coordinator, goes to senior public information coordinator. And you can go through what they've changed. It's all crossed out what they've changed. Does anybody have any questions about the changes that were made just to simply update the policy? Hearing none, has everybody approved this policy? May I have a motion? Motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, let's go right into then our reporting departments, IDA.
Sure. I'll report on both Operation Oswego County and the IDA. I'm going to start at the bottom of my list and then work my way back. So at the last meeting, I just want to remind you again, the Operation Oswego County is holding its annual meeting at the Lake Ontario Event and Conference Center on June 18th. 11:30 a.m. It's a reservation event because it is there will be food there. So if you have not reserved yet, please do that. Please do so. It's going to be a great event. We are going to have our keynote speaker is going to be Rich Barletti from Constellation to discuss existing nuclear as well as opportunities for new nuclear. And there even was a announcement on nuclear yesterday related to RFQs for interested developers. So things continue to move forward on that. And Oswego County continues to be at sort of the forefront and pushing for new nuclear. So other things I wanted to report. So the Empire State Development, as well as other agencies at the state level, are holding what's called a consolidated funding application workshop on June 9th. That is next week from 2 to 4 p.m. at Lemoyne College. This is their all agencies workshop. So DEC, Ag and Markets, Empire State Development, Department of State, Canal Corps, all these entities will be there to answer questions specifically from either private sector projects or from municipalities that are interested in putting in an application for funding. So I always try to recommend, if you're a municipality in particular or the county or others, that is a good one to go to because the other heads of those agencies will be there to answer those questions. We are also, we are co-hosting on June 25th, a CFA workshop with Empire State Development in particular at Cougar Community College Fulton campus, June 25th from 3 to 5 p.m. So that is one that Operation Oswego County is hosting, and we'll have Empire State Development there. So we will send out more in the very near future on that. That's a great one. We've been doing that for several years. It's a good opportunity for projects to learn about the programs and potentially, and then ask questions of the leaders there and get information about if their project would be eligible, how to make it more competitive. Other things I wanted to report on. So Novelis is going to be reopening the hot mill in early June, as early as this week. I was told it could be this week. It may be pushed to next week. They're going through all final checks and everything right now through safety processes, but that is ahead of schedule. After the second fire, there was some concern it potentially wouldn't open until late this year. So they have been able to move, they've had 700 plus construction workers and others on site, millwrights, all sorts of skilled labor there, getting things ready, and they, will be reopening. They have been opened on the cold mill side and the finishing side, but this makes it, again, a fully integrated plant. They've been having to fly in aluminum from as far away as Switzerland and other places to continue to feed this operation. And so this will help to make it much more competitive, efficient, and at full capacity moving forward. Also want to report that at the May 27th IDA meeting, the IDA approved the indoor sports complex project for pilot. That is the Adventure of Bird Sports project. It is going to be a 120,000 square foot indoor sports complex. It's going to be the largest in central New York, one of the largest in New York State. It's a project that's going to provide, it's going to attract events from all over New York State here for both training as well as tournaments. It's also going to provide training to local youth for sports and all ages. Great project's going to have 16 full-time jobs, 13 part-time jobs with over $700,000 in payroll. $3.7 million project. Let's see here, what else?
There could be more than one sport going on, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They're going to have space for lacrosse, soccer. They've got pretty much everything that you could do. They're going to have, even golf training, baseball, softball, all sorts of stuff going on in that facility. Be a giant facility.
Explain to everybody where exactly.
Yeah.
481 is.
So if anyone knows where the former the soccer dome was, right off of 481, they're going to be reutilizing that site. It has a lot of infrastructure that still can be utilized on the site. It has a slab that can be improved and become sort of the base for where the new building is going to be. It's not going to be a dome. It's going to be an actual building. So we're not going to hopefully have the issues related to the dome again. But no, it's a good project. Rich Burritt does great work. He is already sort of in the business and doing elite sports training in the Central New York area. This is an expansion of that, and this is going to be their headquarters for all of their facilities, and with the plan of potentially growing from there.
Chris.
Yeah.
When does construction start?
Great question. I believe it's going to be later this summer. He doesn't take possession of the site until July 1st, and he's trying to mobilize things now. So his hope is that it would be late summer construction, and the project will be completed in early 2027. So
20 or 30-year pilot?
20-year pilot.
If you have any questions, you can turn it in. I think it's a great idea.
Yep.
We're going to become sports capital here. Fields, our indoor.
It's gonna add a lot in terms of support the hotel and hospitality industry as well. Tim can tell you just from Legends Field what that bump does, in terms of that season, in terms of for our hotel industry as well as our restaurants and other local hospitality businesses. So this will add to that, and it'll be a year-round destination.
So the year-round piece is very important because we don't have a lot of enclosed athletic space in this county. And in the winter, very difficult to exercise outdoors. So everything that goes along with this. And he's also mentioned that he will have some sort of a program to help offset. We know this is a high poverty community, and he wants to make sure that it is available to the community. So there'll be a program available for scholarships and sponsorships for folks to be able to utilize it and maybe for another class. So I think it's a great project.
Yes.
So how will that impact Legends Field use at all? Are
No.
they going to have outside fields? Just going to be inside?
As of right now, everything is really planned around indoor. They do have some outdoor fields that are more for soccer. It's not baseball fields or anything like that. They do have some outdoor fields that were there, and that their plan is to improve those over time.
If we get enough people coming in there, maybe we could get a hotel next to it.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Okay, changing gears, the Oswego County Industrial Park expansion. So the public bid documents were sent out on May 22nd. All public bids related to the industrial park expansion are due back June 22nd. We anticipate the groundbreaking and construction to to begin late July, early August. So we're going to have a groundbreaking event that we are going to schedule probably for very early August, trying to keep it away from Harbor Fest and everybody doing events related to that. But things are going to be very real very soon, and we're anticipating that project will be wrapping up by September of 2027.
The recent change in the DEC wetlands, did that affect your?
It didn't because we were only being held to U.S. Army Corps of Engineer wetland requirements, not the DEC. So what the DEC rules did is it said that any Army Corps, they could take jurisdiction on that, and if they did, then it created a 100-foot buffer around that because of the low quality. We had a 0.66 acres of wetlands that were being disturbed on the site, and DEC did not take jurisdiction, so it did not impact. If it had, we would have had to mitigate the 0.66 plus another 100-foot around that, which probably would have added several acres to that. But they did not do that. So we're good on that. We're in the clear on that. What'll happen is as businesses do come to the park, they'll have to deal with whatever wetland regulations exist at the time that they come in. So we know right now that the DEC wetland regulations were annulled. I do anticipate that they will come with something new.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, isn't it something with DEC that they really don't go after when it's very small? It has to be like a minimum wetland.
Yeah, there's like 11 acre. I mean, there's certain things, but they also say if it's considered like a vernal pool, doesn't really matter the acreage. If it's considered a high value wetland, we'll take jurisdiction.
I don't think there's any salamanders out there.
I hope not.
I hope not.
No, that's usually related to like an actual pond
Yeah.
or like running water, not something that just exists during wet weather events. So, okay. So the Village of Pulaski Downtown Revitalization Initiative, this was something that took place over last year. Tim and I were both on the committee for that. They recently announced 11 projects totaling $9.7 million of funding through Department of State. These are a combination of mixed-use downtown buildings, housing, including senior apartments, and public projects like Dunbar Park and streetscape enhancements. These are going to be projects that are going to be sort of implemented over the next several years in Pulaski. It's going to be transformative to that community to have just about $10 million invested in a pretty small area in a place like Pulaski will be transformative. This is the same program that funded the majority of the revitalization in downtown Oswego. So just kind of think, what this could potentially do for that area. So, and we'll be working with many of the projects. We're not sure exactly how yet. Some of those projects potentially could be some small business financing and some other things like that. But we'll be working with them to make sure that they get implemented at that level. Another one I want to report on, and this is sort of a 3-for-1, is that also at the IDA's last meeting, the IDA approved applying for grants on behalf of the Oswego Energy and Rail Park. This is the former Miller facility, former Addis facility. We are working with the owner, applying for $1.7 million through U.S. Department of Transportation to make rail improvements on that site. We're also applying through the Empire State Development Fast New York program for $250,000, an additional $150,000 through National Grid to do engineering studies on the site related to infrastructure, environmental, to be able to put that site back to use for manufacturing and logistics. I also want to report, because there's been some rumors flying around, that this is a site for a proposed data center. I can tell you that is not true. The IDA owns property surrounding that site. We would not do a data center on that site, and that the owner, Mike Tormey, has no interest or vision for a data center. He's looking at it as an industrial agricultural complex, similar to what it is now with the ethanol plant, the malt house, and that. So just want to say, I've seen stuff out there. No one's really said anything, but that's not what's happening.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. I said the same thing at the IDA meeting last week,
Right.
but there's no data center. So, and I can understand people's concern because things seem to be going up very quickly, and but it's not a project we're looking at this time.
Now, isn't this rail yard, once it gets all going, isn't it one of the largest in
It's
Central New York?
Second largest. It's over 6 miles of rail on that site. It's the second largest rail yard to the CSX rail yard in East Syracuse, and this is a privately owned rail yard. So significant value. I mean, they could park an entire unit train of ethanol cars or corn cars on that site when the ethanol plant was running. So it's a extreme high value site for industrial and manufacturing. I know that the state has identified it as a potential location for semiconductor supply chain, and the owner has also identified it as, so he bought an ethanol plant, he bought a malt house. He says best and highest use of an ethanol plant and malt house is to return it to an ethanol plant and a malt house. So that's what we're doing, and we're trying to help them with the rail improvements that need to be done to get that back on track.
It's got a good history too of really
Yeah.
developing into the best use.
He's a good guy. He's also the one who owns the former Roselli building where Irby is in there as a tenant. So he's done good work, and their family has good history of doing good projects. They also own Emerald Equipment Systems in Onondaga County, which is equipment used in sort of mining operations. They actually manufacture that equipment. So, changing gears again, the IDA also provided or approved small business financing for 2 projects in the city of Oswego. So Cheap Seats Reopening, they provided a USDA IRP loan for $100,000 for that project coming back, rebuilding from having a fire themselves earlier this year. And then for Barely Birdie, which is a indoor golf simulation entertainment business that's taking place in the first floor of Harborview Square here in the city of Oswego, $75,000 of USDA IRP financing. So the IDA cannot lend their own dollars. This is also a little education for anybody here. The IDA cannot lend their own dollars, but we have applied for funding in the past through HUD for CDBG micro enterprise loan program. We've applied for funding through USDA through their intermediary lending program. So we can lend those dollars. It's not our own dollars. We're lending federal dollars, or in some cases state dollars, and into relending programs. And so as the funding comes back, we then relend it again to another small business. So those 2 projects were also approved at our last meeting. And then just the last thing I'll do, and I know I've taken up a lot of time, is I mentioned before about nuclear. The state has recently released a RFQ for interested nuclear developers and operators. As you know, previously the county responded to an RFI related to interested communities. We are still having communications regularly with the state, both NYSERDA with their nuclear master energy plan, as well as the Department of State. We've posted them and talked to them about what it means to be a nuclear host community. And then there was also just yesterday, or was it yesterday, Rachel, or Friday, an RFA for nuclear workforce related programs that I know Oswego County is also interested in collaborating with partners to bring some of that funding back. So I won't get more into it because you may talk about that yourself. All right, that's my
Any
story.
questions for? Hearing none, let's go right at Rachel, workforce.
I don't have any more information on the nuclear training.
All right.
Reading it.
Right.
But on that note, myself and Dan Petty, who's our Oswego program manager, we are attending the Northeast Energy Workforce Consortium launch in Albany next week. We were invited by both Constellation and National Grid to attend that. So hopefully that ideas and operators on training for nuclear. Last week we held 2 different events for high school seniors across the county. On Thursday we had a trade signing day. We had 8 individuals that are graduating this month from Pulaski, Fulton, and Oswego high schools. That we just wanted to recognize them because they have decided to go into the trades upon graduation. We did have some representatives from unions and also had sponsorship from Constellation there as well. We only had 8 kids, but it was a start, and we're looking to do this moving forward as well. So that was a great partnership with the chamber. On Friday, in partnership with City BOCES, we held a job fair specifically for high school seniors. For those who don't have a job upon graduation in a few weeks. We had 125 students and about 20 employers, and they were really happy by how the students presented themselves, and there were some interviews that came out of that as well, because we want these kids to have a path when they graduate. I know I've talked a lot today. So the other update I have is we got preliminary allocations for our new WIOA program year because our program year runs July 1st to June 30th. 10% cuts across the board, for everybody. So, that will be a smaller allocation for us. That's, about $173,000 decrease in WHEEL funding, coming to Oswego County. And I know I have been talking a while about realignment with, Cuba County, coming under Oswego County for the Workforce Development Board. That is still happening. It is not happening by July 1st, like was what was hoped, because West Well is moving extremely slow on everything. We don't have our youth WHEEL money for, which we were supposed to get for April 1st, so it's all moving extremely slow at this point. Everything is happening, so much slower, and not as clean happening.
Last week I went to PTEC's senior graduation, and it was great to see these kids that are going into mechanical engineering. They've got summer internships with Novellus and EJUSA, and it was, the families were there. It was a great thing that everybody was so supportive of everybody, and these kids are good kids. These are some, I was very, very proud of these kids and what their ambition is as to where they're going. And even the kid that was the speaker, Jack Tierney, I think he was a senior that gave a speech. It was fantastic. Very, very impressed. I was very pleased that our money that we put into PTEC is well spent. And they were telling me that finally the lab that we put our big money in last year is going to be, they're moving into this other building and it'll be set up. So the kids, instead of working with more or less pretend machinery, will now actually be able to work with things that they would be working in the real world. So it was a very good and gave you a lot of hope for the future.
I was in a meeting yesterday, and Amanda Petrie, the principal of PTEC, she said that some of those kids, they're juniors and they're seniors because they're kind of catching up with it. But with that new lab and the mechanic robotics system they have, which is through recognized credential, they have kids that have already done that, which is great. And this year is their, I think it's the largest numbers they said of those that have completed the full 6 years and come out of OCC with their associate's degrees.
It's their 11th class that they have accomplished. And I think the excitement of PTEC is becoming more and more people being aware of it. And I love that it is not income based. This is totally the kids that the school recommends. These kids have got something, they've got a potential, go for it. So I thought it's good. You've got them all different levels that are going in there. And I know some of them were actually issues in the school system, but they interviewed really well. And they were said, okay, we'll give you a chance, but if you mess up, you're done. And these are kids that had like 30 referrals in 8th grade. I know this because it was my grandson. So I know he interviewed really well. They go, whoa, well, you looked at your school and everything is great except for that. And he's graduating and he's doing a great job. So I'm very, very pleased that it's kids that if he had kept in school, he never would have graduated because he was just too interested in everything else. He can't sit still. That's the kid I want him to go through there. The ones that would not have made it. That's why I'm so glad that they gave that chance. But any other questions for Rachel? Hearing none, let's go into promotion and tourism.
Hey, great. Good morning. So just a couple updates here on tourism. Actually, it was a very exciting month. As you all know, we had our NASCAR race truck driver here earlier in May. We were able, thanks to the charter captain, to get him on a number of large brown trout, the biggest fish he's ever caught. He's a fisherman from down south, so it was very exciting for him. His wife also enjoyed it as well. She had never been on a boat on the lake either. Spent a lot of time with them. I thank you to the legislators who were able to come out to do the meet and greet, the photo op. He really appreciated it. Up at the Speedway, we had really incredible viewership, which is, again, a little surprising to me because I don't understand NASCAR. Didn't realize how big of a deal it was. Had over 150,000 views between our social media posts and our partnerships with NASCAR, so that was pretty incredible. He finished 5th, which means he was running at the front of the pack throughout the race, so we got a ton of photo time, so to speak, and I've been hearing constantly throughout the last month, people saying, I see you guys across the state. I'm like, you actually ask her? It's just shocked again. So, yeah, that's not my world, but I'll tell you, the people it is, it's very, very important. So again, thank you for that. We had our attendant, Linda, in my office, tourism office, was at the Derby Hill Bird Festival. I don't know if any of you are birders, and that is also something I don't know well. That is incredibly popular. And Derby Hill does a great job. This was the highest attended event in many years up there. So again, encouraging to see that kicking off.
Where was this?
Derby Hill is in
Mexico.
It's the highest point of the vertebrate migratory route from south to north. So if they don't go in the lake, they swim around and say, and that's the highest point. So people go there to view them. So people come right in over here.
I saw Baldy this morning coming in, flew over my car, and I'm like, always a good sight. I love it. It's just proof that no matter how much we screw up the environment, yes, we can fix it. And these Baldies came back.
Well, you remember Confusion Corners up there on 3? You went up 3, you came back west. First road on the right, Sage Creek Road, go to the end of the lake, climb up on top of it. Mom and Dad had a canyon. Not on top of the hill, but
Yeah.
that's all I knew you were close.
We also had a big truck day with, in Fulton. Again, that was well attended. People were pretty excited about that. The Oswego Visitor Center is opening this week, and will be open one day. We'll be there. So our staff will be there from noon to 4, Wednesday through Fridays through October. So if you'd like to stop in and see them, you can. We found that a downtown presence has been very positive. It also allows us to collect data, which we can utilize potentially for other marine sanctuary or other opportunities down the road. So we've seen some good information coming in of folks who come in and say, oh, tell me about Oswego. Tell me about the county and the city. That's next to Nora's in downtown West First Street this weekend. Preparation for the Oswego County Fair is ongoing. Reminder, July 1st through 5th is our county fair. We've been very active as the tourism office in partnering with them. I encourage you to check that out if you haven't before. I know legislators, there's special legislator days that you've all invited to as well. But we have a building there that has all our terms. We have the upcoming Waterfront Festival at H3 White on Saturday, June 6th. Staff there. And then also kind of exciting thing is that Cahill Pier, I think you probably have all seen the American Cruise Line ship that was there. I don't know if everybody saw that. They had over 100, is it 120? 130 people on the ship, which again is absolutely incredible. And high wealth individuals who are coming through our community. And so they are returning on Friday, correct? Friday, yes, Friday, June 5th. And so we'll have staff there to kind of encourage them to spend more time in Oswego County. If maybe in the future they come back, we'll have kind of swag bags we call them, handouts with all the great stuff about Oswego County that we're trying to get in all 130 of their hands. They don't necessarily fly out until Saturday, so we're also hoping to encourage them to maybe stay in Oswego County or come back up. They do stay in the hotels down in Syracuse.
Now, the American Cruise Line, this year is the first time I ever heard about it and I read about it. Isn't it, it's like a week-long cruise or something?
This is an 8-day cruise that stays in the Great, I think just on Lake Ontario, or does it go into?
I think there's 2 lakes.
Goes
There's
into
an
St. Lawrence.
There's an 8-day cruise and a 13-day cruise, depending on what you want to choose.
But at least there is a schedule that they will be attending. They're going to stop and see some of our museums, like the Safe Haven after they get off the ship on Friday. So we are going to have some community tie-in already. We're hoping to really come up with a better long-term plan to really tie into our community as they get off or as they.
So they do this all the time.
Well, I think it's 2. There are 2 this year.
The next one is September, I believe, and then Columbus Day.
But I mean, for annually, they've been doing this.
This is the first time.
That's what I was gonna say. I've never heard of it before. I thought maybe I missed this in all these years.
Yes.
First time I've heard
Cool,
about it.
exciting thing. You have
Yeah, it is good.
highlighting the lake in beautiful place. Okay, just a couple of quick things. The baseball tournaments have started up there. There was unfortunately a rain-out weekend, but they've added 3 additional tournaments that are scheduled in October, which is really great news for us because each additional tournament they add is potentially 12 to 1,800 people, depending on the size of the tournament, from outside the county coming into the county. Again, 1 out of every 3 of those individuals is staying in one of our hotels here in Sweden. The more we can get people coming in, the better, especially in October and earlier. Summer, we do have a lot of folks staying in our hotels regardless. but those later months are important too. So that's
Once we get the other sports complex going, we'll be able to say, hey, you sports minded people, guess what? You got some more stuff down the road.
And that's just on the more visitor piece of it. Just to mention again, this goes through the Human Services Committee. So any of you on that maybe already heard this yesterday. But we're also trying to, through our Youth Bureau and Parks and Rec office, tailor more to the community that we serve here in Oswego County. So I talk about tourism, bring people in. They also obviously use those fields. And just as a quick update on the project that was done to push that fence out, I think I mentioned to all of you a couple of months ago that the fences were too short for the high school, for the college to play there. So that was successfully completed this spring, and Mexico played their home sectional game there. School played there last week. Yeah, so you can see that one.
That's great to have the schools.
Have they signed any commitment for the longer term?
Mexico, no, they are very interested. But I think that they're working on coming up, and I don't know if you have a list there, certainly, but I think that they're working on a capital plan to do their own fix. So some of these temporarily, my understanding, they're a little better. Yeah, we did have their little league play there as well as little league play there. Yes. Oh yeah, Oswego High School has. Oswego High School with their contract has preferential, so to speak, but there's absolutely time available that Oswego's athletic director is working with Oswego one to schedule that. We're trying to keep it out of the question. And then lastly, for fishing, for tourism, I want to give a fishing update. So I think I mentioned to you all that we're doing a quarterly fishing advisory council meeting. We bring in folks from across the county, from both lakes, from the rivers, from charter captains to municipal leaders. It is open if you're interested to attend. It is I believe it's going to be at Steamers this June 15th from 5:30 to 7:30. So if you were interested in attending, and we're talking about some of the items that we've done. I think you all heard we did a big cleanup that was very successful up in the Salmon River. We're working on coming up with an accessible boat launch. One of the things that we do not have this week around is shocking to you is a way for wheelchairs to get onto charter captain's boats. There's not a lift, similar like a pool lift if you think about it. We don't have one of those. And so we're working with some local nonprofits as well as regional entities to come up with a way to either put it down. The mayor has been very open to the idea of putting it in Oswego River, Marina, or potentially over at the east side. So that's an exciting opportunity. We're looking at a grant application. And then the other thing is that we are working on putting together a fishing live stream. This will be kind of exciting. Probably have seen photos of people down at Oswego River at the dam fishing. There'll be 100 people in there. We're looking at putting together a live stream that'll be live streamed on our website. Again, our ship. That's my updates on tourism. Any questions?
So is the transportation from the cruise ship into town?
So the company that runs the cruises also owns a busing company. And so what they do is they have this bus or these two buses that go to the airport when folks land. They drive them up here from the airport to the probably the hotel in Syracuse.
And that's in Syracuse.
In Syracuse. On the day they disembark, I think is the right word. The bus brings those folks up here. They get on there. The bus follows them on the land to each of the ports, and then the bus is what takes them around. So when they do return to Oswego, their buses will be driving.
Okay, any other thing for tourism? Hearing none, let's go to planning.
Okay, great. A couple cool updates on planning. Very, very eventful month for broadband. So I won't get too deep, but if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, or I can catch up later. We kind of remarkably found out about 3 weeks ago that the federal government is considering an extension. That is a shock to us. We've been asking for one for at least a year and a half. Because again, just a quick reminder, broadband funds come from the federal government through the infrastructure grant, infrastructure bill, and to the states. So our deadline was the end of this year because of that. So we submitted last week a request for a 6-month extension for our broadband project. We hope to find out sooner than later. Obviously, the longer it is till we find out, the less we can actually do with it, because we're going to have to operate as if it's due September 1st until they tell us otherwise. One of the really cool things that we were able to get them to do, though, is the state allowed us to remove our ARPA funds, $3.7 million that we were forced to include kind of as our local share for the grant, for the $30 million grant. They allowed us to pull that out, and they're replacing it with their own money. So it's essentially an extra $3.7 million that we now have towards this project. And why that's exciting is that the requirements that the ARPA or the MIP project, that's what they call the state program, that has to be completed by the end of this year. Every dollar that we want to spend to get reimbursed has to be done. The lights have to be on by December 31st, or we don't get reimbursed. The ARPA funds have a different rule. The ARPA funds say you have to spend it by December 31st, but it has to be spent on a project that can be reasonably believed to be completed at a future date. So it opens up some additional pieces of this project in areas of our county that we would not be able to have served otherwise. We couldn't guarantee the work would be done by December 31st. And so what we've kind of pivoted to, again, in partnership with the state, is they're still going to do that 106-mile loop, but it's still our plan. But off of that, we're going to try and connect to our 911 tower system. And if we're able to do that, there's 8 towers that we as a county own through our 911 office that we could potentially outfit with the technology needed to send what they call fixed wireless signals. If we had that, we can serve probably thousands of our county residents that we couldn't serve otherwise. Specific areas are Sandy Creek, the more northern-east areas of our county, and Hannibal. Those are the kinds of 3 sections that we had to de-scope as part of this because it's just never going to get done in time. So the fixed wireless option is really a huge blessing for our community, and we're really excited. I had a meeting yesterday with 911 Director Kevin Cooley. It also could help actually make their 911, our county 911 structure, our system, more robust and have redundancy in case there were other concerns. So this could be a huge help for our 911, and those funds can be completely paid for out of our funds. And that would allow us to potentially pay for those things up front, finish the project in 27, and go live. So again, exciting news. Any questions on that? That's a lot of information. But,
You were concerned with 911, so Kevin's fine.
Kevin, yes, he thinks it's going to be a great opportunity for them as well. So I think it's a great shared department work here. So that is broadband. Any other questions on that? Oh, we also requested our first $5.1 million of reimbursement. We've spent somewhere around 9 or 10 million so far as a county. So getting the reimbursement will be huge. We did not bond for $30 million. I think you all know that. We bonded for $1. And so we don't have $30 million in money sitting in an account to pay for our $30 million project. What we kind of planned was we'll spend 5, we'll request 5, we'll spend 8, we'll request 8, and we'll just kind of, I'll say float it, but you get the idea. This is our first reimbursement request to the state. We're on about between week 3 and 4 right now. We expect it to be about a 6 to 8 week turnaround. So at this point, we have some money left to pay the bills that we'll be getting over the next 4 weeks. But I just want to prepare you in case that reimbursement doesn't come in time. We may need to front some money from the county. I will let you know as soon as I know. I've asked all of our consultants to give me at least 4 weeks heads up. So you'll know what at least we should have an emergency date. We should. But I hope that money. Okay, that's broadband. Any questions on broadband? Okay, comp plan. Real quick update on comp plans. We had a meeting with the town of Palermo, as well as the town of Granby last week. Sat down with their planning boards and their councils, had a really good opportunity to talk to them about our Silkers project. And I won't spoil anything on that, but our Silkers project, as well as just our overall development plan for the county. Really got some good feedback from the planning boards to make sure that when we put together our county-wide comprehensive plan, we are making it in alignment with the towns and villages that make it. You can't pass something that they're not going to want to support. So anyway, that's been moving along great. We're working on a draft document that should be available if anyone's interested in expecting it for the draft piece probably in the next month and a half.
Has there been any requests for comprehensive planning funding, and do you have available?
Yeah, so not as much as we had hoped. We have really worked with the consultants who are doing those comprehensive plans. Again, that money is spent by the end of this year, so folks who are applying this year may not be able to. That's kind of one of the things we're finding. If they applied this year, the application goes into the state usually in July. The award doesn't come until November, December, and so the money isn't actually spent until a year typically, which our fund would not allow. So we probably have still about $20,000, $25,000 that we have not spent that we have earmarked to assist villages. Again, if you know if your community has projects that they have not reached out to us, make sure they do. But I don't have the list to make today. I'm sorry, I had it last month. Nothing has changed since. So if you've got someone, have them reach out, let me know.
So basically, use it or lose it.
Yes.
People don't call.
Yes.
So you tried, I know you reached out not just to the town supervisor, but you reach out to the clerk, you reach out to everybody at the towns, make them aware, here's the money, we're gonna help you.
So that's complicated. Want to give a quick update. Fair Housing, if you all remember, the coloring contest has been completed, and there have been appreciate any of you who voted on that. We do have, I believe, 6 winners, and we'll be presenting those children with their prizes this Thursday here at Chambers at 5:30 to 6. So if you want to come, kids, I'm sure are going to be super excited. With some cookies and stuff like that. It's only do a half-hour program. But again, it's one of the more fun things we get to do around here. So if you're available, I'd love to see you there.
Do they know that they won, or
They know that they've won. I don't think we told them exactly what they're.
first, second?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Caroline made those calls. I'm not positive, but they do know that they have won. That they will be receiving their. And I think, short-term rental. Let me give you a quick update on the short-term rental registry. In fact, I want to thank Airbnb and VRBO. They have come through with what they said they would do, and they have sent out emails to every single Oswego County client that they have, letting them know that they had to register the registry. So we have, in the last 5 days, had almost 20 applications come in. It's encouraging. Working through that. So I wanted to just touch on a couple of things that I've heard from the towns and villages. Got a lot of phone calls. Obviously, their residents are getting these. They're calling the towns are calling us. All the information is on the website, but sometimes you really do need to kind of get them a little bit more. So the most important piece to know for your communities is that the county does not have the authority, land use authority. We can't mandate certain things, your code enforcement, your fire code. All of that goes at the local level. So your town, village, or city is going to oversee that. At the county level, in the law that we wrote for our registry, we essentially require anyone who's got a short-term rental to certify that they are obeying the town, village, or city rules. So they're going to say that to us. They're going to certify that under perjury. If they ultimately are not, so a town, city calls and says, "Hey, what's the story on this one home?" And I say, "Oh, they certified that they're in alliance with your allowance with what you guys have as a requirement," and they aren't. They can potentially be removed from our registry if they don't get it taken care of at the local level, which I think is hopefully an assistance to the town, village, or city, because they can use that kind of as a little bit of a stick to get people to be in line with this. But we will not do that. That's not going to be the county's role, I would say. But once we have the registry, we are going to share that with town, villages, and cities, and I think I mentioned all the, at least the highest elected official in each community, that will be available. We have not yet decided, maybe that's something for you folks to think about, let me know. We have not yet decided whether we want to post publicly every address for the county. We could potentially do that as public information. Some folks who own short-term rentals actually like that idea. They saw that as free marketing, essentially. Free advertising they didn't pay for. Some folks were a little concerned about bringing a highlight to where their property is. But again, it's not going to be a secret. All the towns and villages will know, and most of them are. The town, village, or city can pass local laws that mandate how that is, how that's operated, and then we would essentially make sure that folks obey that as part of our certification. So if a town, village, or city decided they wanted 4-day stays at least, you can't stay in one short-term rental for less than 4 days. They could pass a local law that forced that, and obviously we would get on that. If a town, village, or city were to ban short-term rentals, which has happened in some places, we would not allow them on the registry. So the county is kind of, although we are required to keep this registry. Quick reminder: town, villages, and cities cannot have their own registry. The county is mandated by the governor's office to keep this. Towns can't have their own. Towns cannot. But again, ours is public and will be available.
Is that going to be searchable for the towns and villages, cities?
Yeah, again, it's available on request. We're still working on how to make it real-time accessible. That's a little more technology than I think I have at the moment. So it's something we're working on. But worst case, anyone could reach out to me and I would get it. And a quick reminder that the tax has not yet started to be collected on short-term rentals. The hotel taxes have. You folks, I believe, are voting on this public hearings this month to formally pass that tax. And so we expect that for Rich, that is a 3-month wait before you start collecting it. So we hope to start collecting short-term rental tax in the fall or the winter quarter. We are also looking at putting together some sort of a short-term rental committee to review as part of our tourism advisory council, to review how those monies can be spent most to best help the communities and how those where these are actually being collected. So if you're interested in that. Yeah. I think that's everything. Sorry, Gordy.
Oh, that's okay. We have a lot of stuff to go over, so. Any other questions for Tim?
Tim?
Yes.
Yes. So first, I think it's our first closeout of and those are from the high water grant. So remember that was 2017 to 19. These are probably 5 years old, I would think.
Yes.
So I do want to thank Caroline. She put a lot of work. Veronica put a lot of work into it. We got our first reimbursement, which means the project's closed. All of our money's back. Over $1 million the end of this week. One of the, I believe, the Camp Hollis project. There's 4 others that are being closed out for the next 2 months as well, for a total of probably $3 or $4 million. And then we did get them. I think you all know this, but we did also get them to allow us to use what would have been left over. We weren't going to be able to spend to rebuild the County Route 89 embankment between Rudy's and Burke's Point. So I think we've been down there, but that is in serious jeopardy of degrading right into a road. We would have had to pay to fix it, so it's very thankful that the state allowed us to do that. So that'll be getting done. It's being bid out right now as we speak. It's on the street, and we hope to have that project started in the summer.
Okay, let's move right into, do you have a report for Heather?
Oh, I do. Now, I'm not super knowledgeable on this, so I will bring questions back to her. I handed out a packet to each of you. You will see there is a proposed now this drawing that you see here about the share the road. This would only be on those 7 Chenango buses that we just got. This is not rebranding or sleeving a current bus. Correct. Those are staying. This is the new one. So we've been hearing some concerns. I think this committee even brought them up about slow moving vehicles. And so one of the thoughts was put something like this as I would say a marketing campaign, but a way of kind of bringing attention. These buses will typically drive up in those areas as well. So again, this hasn't been done. It's just something we want to bring to you folks for approval or for consideration. We did get these 2 different mock-ups, A and B. We do, we have not bought this yet. To be clear, this will be funded 100% through the Department of Health funding, no local share. So just want to see if you like this idea of a safety campaign. I'm bringing it to you folks for review. And if one of these sticks out and you like it, we can kind of pull the trigger and get it.
Either one of these, what you ought to do is up towards the top, left-hand corner, where there's that space for a small SMV sign.
What now?
SMV, small moving vehicle sign, triangle sign,
The triangles for agriculture.
yes. And some of our Amish are starting to use those too.
Yes, thankfully.
Along with lights,
Yes.
but that would go along with that if you could.
Okay. Yeah. I like
So can you only put that on a vehicle that is a slow moving vehicle?
You could only put that on anything under 20 miles an hour or 22 miles an hour.
No, I guess what I'm saying is if we put this sign on the back of the bus,
Oh,
is there a problem?
yeah,
It's a graphical representation of the sign. It isn't the sign itself.
yeah, it's not, it's gotta be a certain size.
Okay.
It could be that.
Well, maybe like they've done the caution
Yeah.
with a picture of a
Yeah.
biker, they could do a caution with a picture of a sign.
Yeah.
Slow moving,
North
so it isn't
Yeah,
that sign.
Okay.
Some way to work that in.
Yep, I like it. I'll bring that back.
I can't believe the people, there was somebody that, I think they got killed by running into the back of a tractor. I mean, it's kind of obvious. There it is. It had the triangle and everything.
That section of Route 3 can be so hilly heading up there.
And they're tending to get closer into the lane, and that's on the other side.
I mean, this is this area you see a lot of this. Do you have thoughts on this? Something you think would be beneficial?
Well, I think that we have a lot of permission. We've had several accidents. You wonder how they don't use the triangle.
Some of them are starting to.
Some of them are actually putting lights on.
Yeah, they've got the.
It all depends on what set they're in.
Maybe that's because there's been some fatality. People and horses.
There's some dangerous areas like Route 49. There's some places where some turns in there. And if it's at night, they're right there. They don't have a sign on there or something.
Well, we were in Palermo, they said that the number one growth area in Palermo right now is Amish buying up substantial amounts of property. And I know has had a couple large farms just transacted as well. So I think it is something we're seeing more and more of. So, just again, maybe take us over, let me know what your thoughts are. We'd like to move forward with it if you folks are on
I
board.
think it's a good idea. I mean, we need to remind people that it's a safety thing. I mean, it's just public safety.
Nice thing about, we don't have to worry about solar farms
No, or wetlands.
or wetlands, yes.
So this is for 7 signs,
It's not buses, yes.
so it's almost $1,400 a sign.
Yep, right around that.
And this is none of our, it's all through the,
Yep, so every year we get a substantial amount of money through the Department of Health.
Okay.
And so these funds would come out of those. That is good. Does anyone care? Does anyone have a feeling towards A or B? Or maybe what I could do is, 'cause I like the idea of the SMB thing, with the tractor. Why don't we'll see if we can get a kind of a mock-up made up of that. Do you lean more way to A or B? Kind of, they're pretty similar. Obviously, the biggest change is the caution side of the bike guide instead of the lights in the middle there.
the bike kind of thing.
Bike is just as important as the buggy.
Yeah.
Personal opinion.
See the
Pedestrians too.
Yeah. If you like the full, I would think else you could see it as well. Okay.
Yes.
It keeps looking at how other states are. It's like, it's amazing.
Yes, to a certain extent. So New York State DOT kind of governs things a little different than Pennsylvania does. We actually we're looking into diapers, so communities mandate diapers, or a bucket of some sort behind the horses so that there's not droppings. We did look into it a little bit. I think ultimately, at least my understanding is I don't know if the county has looked at doing county-wide mandates.
I mean, in terms of what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know where they came up with this. I can find out though.
I mean, it's,
Look at
if there's already a sign that has worked well in another area.
Yes.
These are gonna be on buses that are all over. They're gonna travel not just in the areas where Amish have done.
Correct.
Do we have, maybe this question I would it make sense to have fixed signage in areas where we know Amish and we might, because I'm thinking about, sometimes you turn into a neighborhood and there's a sign there, right? Blind child or vision impaired persons. It's not at the back of the bus that's over there, it's right where they are. And I'm wondering if we should be doing the same with share the road message sign, actually where they are.
Yeah, I know I know there's a new one in Hannibal on 104 that they just, I believe, Sean's folks put up. Although I'm not positive.
There is the buggy sign.
Our town has put up several.
Those as well.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder though, maybe we could even do like a billboard campaign or some sort of a signage campaign along with this, possibly to kind of make it more of a, an actual campaign as opposed to just lettering a bus. Terrible idea. I don't know. There's why don't I put something together proposal with that? Come back.
Ask John, what can be done.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
I would make a note for State Retreat for both Walmart, because they're coming from Hannibal. And they start
Going up. I've seen that.
I've seen them at Walmart on 31.
Oh, yeah.
They're up there at Home Depot, they're everywhere.
104.
Yes.
The nice part, I think, is people started to see them and it's not such a shock anymore.
You're right. The bigger concerns when you have the longer run that you can see, especially if it's lighting, it's not terrible. But some of those sections had nothing last guy. And then normal
All
speed,
over the hills.
go over
all
those
over the
hills, and they're just it's right there. So I got the point now where I just anytime it's just assume there, prepare for this. All right, great. Thank you so much. I will take that back to Heather and we'll put together a little proposal. Maybe just an email if that's okay. So we can move it along.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll jump into other things here. She also has a short-term transportation assistant. You'll see it there. This is a new program through OCO. We'll run four more weeks. Potentially could provide gas cards or other support in partnership with that. I don't know much about this one. Those are good questions. I will bring them back to her. Do you want me to see this as well? Okay, last thing I'll jump into is we've got the fair has received grant funding for transportation. You'll see it through a company called New York Transportation they're working with to provide it. But then we also provide our normal public transit during normal hours, again, free of charge.
What is this New York Transportation?
So it's a for-profit company that offers, I think it's a taxi service essentially.
Oh, is that woman
It
that,
is,
oh,
yeah.
okay, yes, and she's excellent about picking up people that, other people can't get to and stuff. She was excellent.
So there's your information there. And then last thing I'll jump on, sorry, real last thing is the farmer's market. So exciting. This is our 5th year of offering transportation free to the farmer's market throughout the county. Very well received. Heather, I think, just presented the numbers in the past, but a great program, again, partnership with, to try and make sure that everyone, regardless of income, can eat good food. And it also helps our farmers as well. So let me know if you have any questions.
Okay. All right, okay. Go for it. Wastewater. Mark.
Never sat so long without speaking in my whole life.
It's all right. I just think the good stuff.
The Phoenix County IDA Schuylkill project is in the design phase as we speak. It's moving forward. Anticipated construction is next year. Who knows? Valley Sewer Extension, which goes up to the county landfill. Town of Valley has been officially recognized as a pro-housing community, which opens up the town's ability to apply for additional grants that are not open to non-pro-housing communities. So we are applying for a pro-housing grant for this project.
Will that help the project?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's we've identified about $6 million in grants that we're applying for. It's a $7 million project. So we'll see what we can do there to make up the gap. Or there might be a sewer bill, to the residents who want. So, but it gets more manageable that way.
Yes.
Yes.
How much are you short now? 2 million? It's $8 million project. Or
7 million.
7?
7.
Oh, so you're almost there.
We're almost there. Well, you gotta get the money given to us, rewarded. So
You're on it.
we're on it. Yes. The big news everybody probably seen was the Socus project received a $12 million allocation from the New York State budget. This funding represents the successful culmination of a lengthy, challenging effort that required persistence, collaboration, and strong advocacy. Many individuals contribute to achieve this, including Jim Weatherup, Mel, Terry Wilbur, Tim Stahl, Austin Wheelock, and let's not forget about our state representatives, Senator Chris Ryan and Assemblyman Will Barkley. So this is a very good start. I think I mentioned it last week, but this will get us ready. And I just seen that this budget round that the state awarded $118 million to Onondaga County Schools. So why can't we get 100?
Yeah.
What's 12?
They could do 118 to them. Why can't we?
Yeah. So we'll hope and we'll keep the team together and we'll keep pushing. So I appreciate everyone's help. And in the legislature as a whole. I mean, everybody's been out there speaking of this. It's getting around throughout the whole town. Albany knows about it. So appreciate that.
I was at a meeting with Chris Ryan the other day, and he said that they have every intention of going for more.
Yes.
He wants to get a meeting of people together to, okay, we have to now go for more money. Got at least the engineering, but we need more.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, this is great. And we're getting a lot of hits with potential development that want to know where we're at with this project because they're looking for sewers themselves.
Well, if you look at Syracuse.com, we've got bulldozers and everything going on. I got so many people. Where is it? No, we do not have any shovel in the ground yet. Those are pictures of probably Micron because they're up there doing stuff like that at Micron. It's not ours.
And one of the grants that we're applying for, I touched on it last month, required additional testing and research. WQIP between May 18th and May 28th, we received 43 volunteers that have their septic testing. We've gotten through 30 of them. They asked for 8 or 9. And fortunately or unfortunately, the results are overwhelmingly support this grant. So there's a lot of problems out there. So, and then the last thing I just want to speak of is, as this is picking up traction, we're getting myself and staff. But I tend to say staff all the time.
Yeah.
Been invited to a lot of different municipalities to talk about, so Chris, where we're at, other nonprofits that are interested to, got a lot of attention from the Sandy Creek area. A couple of organizations up there we're going to meet with and go over where we're at. So
That's good.
keeping the information out there. We got the website where we can keep additional information going. So.
Does anybody have any other?
I've been at the county I've been working in economic development in Oswego County for 20 years, and between the broadband and this grant, I think those are the 2 largest grants I've ever seen the county get from the state. And those have been within the last year. So I just wanted to say from my perspective, I didn't do it, helped on it. Really big what Oswego County is doing right now, becoming a big player at the state level, both related to growth related to Micron, but also nuclear and everything else. So just want to say a lot of people are recognizing, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Oswego County come and speak at how we're doing things to other counties and regions.
Well, there's an old cowboy saying is that the only way to get out of the hole is to stop digging. And Oswego County, we're a poor county. The only way to get out of that is to do what we're doing, is to get out of there, get more resources and stuff to help the people. And with the homeless and stuff, let's stop it from becoming homeless before dealing with another there. So I think we got a lot of things going for us.
And again, I think the very important thing is we're working as a team. The county's working as a team. We're hitting that on all cylinders. I know I've heard Austin out there talking with the state reps and making sure he's plugging us and everything. So everybody's just doing.
Does anybody? Oh, yes.
Right after the announcement for Socris, I got an email the next morning from Derek Glantz. She's the regional director for the DEC for this area. Basically just said excellent work, Chairman. Okay. I sent back, yes, thanks for the glory call, but to be fair, Senator Ryan got it across the line for us. Again, thanks for your support. I'm sure we'll be talking soon now the real work. The good part, she says, indeed, Senator Ryan delivered for sure. What you brought kept all the meetings together, and that is a precedent and foundation. Can't tell you how often we meet, me, Mark, Jim, and others in Austin with Empire State Development, with the DEC, whatever. This cooperation between communities is pretty rare. So we need to keep that going. To Mark's point, we go where we're asked to help with the sewers and other things, but broadband is going to be huge. I use my own hometown, and Mark did all the work. I got all the credit. Because we have water in every road. There's really no reason why we couldn't do that in all the other towns. But we go where we're asked. It's not top down, demanding, pushing, pulling. If they want help, they're pulling.
What constitutes a pro housing community?
There's 2 ways of doing it, and actually Valentine did it both ways. One way is you pass a resolution saying you're a pro housing community. And the second way is actually based on building permit data. And Valentine actually, and thanks to Caroline Chu, as deputy director for planning, she did the work for the town of Valentine. And did the calculations so they passed both ways.
Yeah, just to clarify, so as Mark said, you can either show it in that you have created enough housing units over the last 3 years, or you can commit to saying that our plan is that we'll develop, I think I don't remember if it's 1% more housing units over the next 3 years. I think it's something like that. And, obviously, and then you have to, there's some other work that goes along with it, but a lot of communities were concerned that it meant that the state would have authority over what types of projects went in. It doesn't mean that at all. At least it hasn't meant it to date. It just means that you're a community that says that we want to create new housing units, or we have, and then that unlocks certain funding pools for you. It makes you eligible for Restore New York. It makes you eligible for Downtown Revitalization Initiative or New York Forward. It makes you eligible for the pro housing specific funding. So it's a key to unlock a toolbox that you don't have unless you become a pro housing community.
So a unit, is that a single family home? Is that an apartment, or a townhouse, or is there any definition?
A unit is a unit of housing. It doesn't have to be a single family house. It could be an apartment. It could be, it's just a housing unit.
I believe we have 10 communities in Oswego County that have
Yes.
checked the box. Interestingly, to that point, the biggest concern why many towns and villages were not interested in becoming, right? It really is just a check the box. Are you one? Was the concern of what does that mean? What do I, and what I actually bring in with me? Does it give the governor license to dump low income housing? One of the biggest concerns we heard it. Austin and I and the entire state development did a traveling tour of most of the towns and villages to kind of explain what it was, what it wasn't. So it's an annual certification process. If the state current rules do not require any of that. In fact, the only programs the state currently offers that pay for market rate housing everyone wants in their community, are behind the paywall, so to speak, of this program. You have to be pro housing to be able to be eligible for the market rate rates. So it's an important piece. But it's an annual renewal. So that means if the state does change the rules somewhere down the road, you are no longer required to be in it, you opt out. So I think most communities have understood that, and we really have had a pretty good response to those. To the community.
Yeah, but it's both cities, all villages, and a couple towns.
Yes, an important point that the county is not eligible to be pro housing. It has to be towns, villages, or cities. We've had that question because.
And I think the other part that the towns, especially because we're rural communities, these towns are rural, is there's a section in that resolution when you adopt it that says that you're against urban sprawl, which means I don't want development in my town, right? So it's a counter. Having makes it sound for a little bit. So, but since you can get in and out of it, who really cares?
Yeah, there's not a real definition to what that. I mean, they just want to not have one house every 10 acres or something. Make compact development. Which makes sense for infrastructure. I mean, it's not feasible to do infrastructure when it's one house every 10 acres. So they want to make sure you have compact development, build off of existing hamlets and villages and things that you already have, and work that way.
So with the Socus project, it appears the city of Fulton's way out of the predicament right now. So it's got overwhelming support from the city of Fulton residents and the elected city of Fulton.
Yes.
And we can wait for this project to start. Yes, it is, like I said, it's our way out of the predicament that we're in now.
Yeah.
Financial predicament. So you got our support 100% in the city.
Yes, so the city of Fulton has an asset, and that's the way they should look at it. That
Yes.
wastewater treatment plant is an asset. It has a vastly underutilized asset. It has a lot of capacity, and this is a mutually beneficial project.
Who's running 30%, 40%, 30%?
Something like that.
It's not much. I mean, I think 12,500 to 15,000 additional homes.
Yeah.
This is the waste treatment facility can handle in addition.
As of right now.
As of right now, yes.
Yeah.
So, keep up the good work, my friend. You're doing great. Thank you.
A lot of good things going up there.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Except, okay, yes.
I forgot one thing else to remind me. Tomorrow, the Oswego County Child Care Investment Fund, we are hosting an employer forum, 9 and 12.
Yep.
At Kristen's Kitchen, so that we can get input from all of our local employers, that are coming on their staff childcare needs, whether it's different shifts, if it's, just what they're seeing from their staff are bringing on these issues. So as we move forward in investing in those solutions.
Also asking for those employers to be partners as well and provide financial assistance similar to a Constellation and Fulton Savings Bank and a couple others.
Okay. Appropriate motion.
Move.
Second. All right. Thank you, everybody. I know we're an hour and a half, but you know what? We have so many good things to know about. Spread the word.
All right, you can